today we are so happy to bring to the members here of Startup Club Stephen Foster. So, Stephen Foster is an awesome person who has made his life mission in gathering and interviewing over 600 people or so to just really help us all understand what their golden nuggets are. What are their secrets? What does it all come down to that has helped them thrive when they are, put up against diversity or obstacles, whatever it might be in life and especially in business? So, I've had the privilege of working with you, Stephen. I know Colin, who's one of the founders here on Startup Club, he's going to be in your next book. But what an amazing, project this is that you have and how you're sharing it with everyone. I know in your next book, you also have Evander Holyfield, right?
That's correct, and good evening. I would say I've interviewed now over 4,000 people for
Oh my
their nugget
gosh,
of
I
wisdom.
was way off. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
no, it's fine, and it's completely transformed my life. Just to hear people's stories, and especially hear their stories of their most difficult times and how they got through them. You can't help but be changed.
Yes. So you've done the hard work for us. You've spent a lot of time doing this, you and your team. But, tell us a little bit about the project. I know you just said you've interviewed over 4,000 people. And then we would just kind of, we'd like to understand what are the top golden nuggets that you hear on a repetitive basis that helps people thrive in their personal and business life. And every all the members of the club here in the audience, we're going to let Stephen talk for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we want you to come to the stage. We want you to share your stories. We want you to ask questions because this session is really about you, and we're all here, to help each other out, quite honestly. And I'm so thankful to have you here and that you're going to share with us stories of others. So go for it, Stephen.
Yeah, absolutely. And first of all, thank you for inviting me. It's great to be here. I would firstly, just give you a little bit of backstory. I spent 28 years trying to build businesses and messing it up all the time. And by the time I got to 47, 48, I was really, this is just actually at the start of lockdown. I was living in my office and, I'd lost everything. All my customers went because of lockdown. And, I'm living in my office and it's another one of those really challenging situations. And that's only 3.5 years ago. And I'd always had this idea of Nugget. So what I did was I had no idea how I was going to make any money from it, but I knew that it was what I should be doing. So I just dived into it and started asking people for their one golden nuggets, and it just exploded pretty much straight away. Everybody had a story to tell. Everybody had been through so much, and often the most successful people have been through the hardest, toughest of times. They'd lost everything many, many times, and it was a real eye opener for me. So when I reached out to people for nuggets, um, everybody would say yes because they wanted to share their story. And weirdly enough, the most successful people were the easiest people to reach. So it became this incredible connecting tool. So I went on this journey and I wrote a first book about, my discovery of one golden nugget and the people that I've met and the journey, because life is a journey. It's a bit of a cliche, but it really is. There is no destination. We're just on this path and you meet people and they join your journey and then they go. Some people stay for life. And I started interviewing these people and I found out so much. And the thing that I learned about my own life is that I'd always built businesses to make money. And that was the critical error. And when you build a business, and then I know there's a lot of people here that are building startups or they're progressing through their career. It's build a business with purpose. Don't build it to make money. And I know probably everybody knows that, but it took me to 47 to realize it, that actually, if you're going to build a business, create a big dream, create a big vision. The world doesn't need small thinkers. Go for something massive. because that's what the world needs right now. There's so many problems we've got to fix. So if you're going to do something, do it, go big, and you know, just believe in yourself. And so that was incredible. So that was the first thing I learned, that it's, if you're going to be in business, build a business with purpose. um, the other thing I learned was about intention and expectation, because I'd always had expectations of how things would work out for me. You know, I build this vision, I'd set goals, and it's like I've got that expectation it's going to be that, and I'm going to do that, and I'm really going to believe in what I'm doing, and you know, this is going to be incredible. And of course, life doesn't give a hoot about your expectations, and often things wouldn't work out as I planned, and then you kind of get, you know, delusioned and disappointed. And I learned that it's about intention. So the process I learned from all these incredible people was that it's okay, create a vision and an intention of what you want to create, and then you have to let it go. You have to let go of the outcome, because life will guide you, and sometimes what you're going after, actually you can achieve far more. And it's about intention, and it's about having the feeling now of what you want to create, and sticking and staying in that vibration, rather than expectations, which often always lead to disappointment. And that's a really nasty feeling to have. So it's about creating intention, and sticking like glue to that intention, and just allowing the path to unfold as you wish. So that was
All
the
right, so
second.
I'm gonna intrude here a little bit. So, all right, so have a purpose and just be have a dogged, when I'm paraphrasing here, persistence. So why don't you, I want to step back just a little bit. I want everyone to understand, just the kind of people that you're interviewing, the C-level people, the founders, etc., that you've been interviewing. And my gosh, that's a lot of people to interview. You just said it was just since COVID, and I think that was an amazing project you took on. But let's step back here, and maybe you could share, some specific names and tidbits, bits and pieces from some specific people, and how that made you feel and what the learnings were. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, the first nugget I ever collected was from a guy called Warwick Davis. And if you know Warwick Davis, he was in Star Wars, and he was in a film called Willow. He's the little tiny guy. And actually, I had a business with him years ago, and he gave me the first nugget, and that was just about loving what you do, and again, not having expectation. And that was the first nugget. Actually, he played Yoda in Star Wars, so you know what a kick-off nugget to get, you know, from him. And that was the first one. I interviewed the head of Universal Music, a guy called Olivia Robert Murphy, and his nugget was about letting it go. That was it, let it go, 3 words. Now, obviously, the Disney film, we've all got that song going through our head now, but it's very important, you know, to let the baggage go, let those feelings and emotions go sometimes, that clog up our system, and they, you know, they drag us down. It's that baggage that we carry around with us. Um, and you know, that was absolutely profound. And then of course I met the most incredible man, Joe Foster, the founder of Reebok, who's no relation to me, and you know, he changed my life, and that was 3 years ago. And you know, his nugget was just keep going, you know, building Reebok. And I know you've had him on your show, and I'm doing obviously the Survive and Thrive project with him now. But you know, his nugget of just keep going, you know. And I learned that, you know, when you reach a tough moment, that's the time to keep going. That's the time to push through it, because often that's the final test to get to the next level. And most people, they give up when they reach, you know, they've been going and going and going, and then they reach a really tough experience, and then they give up. But that's the time to push through. Yeah, so that was a, you know, a profound thing for me. So I think those three people have been my top nuggets, so that stand out in my head.
So so I know it's kind of panacea, but like, did they share any like tips or ideas about how they actually just kept going? Because we have a lot of entrepreneurs here in the audience. We're all just looking to, like, when to know to push and when to know to quit, the whole nine yards. So Is there any takeaways and like how you actually manage through pushing? What are
Yeah,
your thoughts on that?
well, first of all, I don't think the goal changes. The approach might change, and you might be trying something and it's not working. So then it really comes down to intuition as to when you stop. And that can only come from the individual because they've got to assess their situation, right? And then make a decision. Because sometimes you are riding a dead horse, and sometimes you've got to get off it. But you know, and I learned, you know, it's about testing things and then going again and seeing what works and making progress smoothly and slowly, um, but the goal never changes. So that it then really comes down to a mental attitude of just keep going, because everything is mental. Your entire life is built up from a collection of your thoughts, and then they obviously translate into actions. So it's about the quality of thought, and when those tough times come, it's about looking for the opportunity within the problem, because problems are not delivered to slow you down or stop you. They're there to teach you a lesson, and they're there to teach you to grow and expand as a human being. I remember interviewing the head of Facebook for Asia, a lady called Kurthiga Reddy. You know, she told me this, and I kind of knew it, but you know, she said the higher you go up the ladder, it doesn't become easier. The problems get bigger. You've just got to get better. So then it comes down to you know, through those tough times, developing yourself, believing in yourself, surrounding yourself with an incredible group of people, and most importantly, and this is a key nugget, is asking for help. You know, because when you encounter a problem, someone else has already been there. Many people have already been there. Go and ask people for their help. And that was something I never did previously. Now I get a problem, it's like, you know, I go out to my network, and you know, and I'm very blessed to have thousands of people. I go, right, who do I need? You know, and I think intrinsically within human beings there's this need to want to help. You know, good people, they just want to help others because it feels good. So go and ask people. You've got a problem, either read a book, educate yourself, or go and ask, you know, people that you know for help, and then draft a plan and solutions and go again. So I don't think you know, I don't think the goal ever changes. It's just your approach, you know, and set where, what's the problem, define it, feel good about it, send thoughts of love to it, which can be difficult sometimes because the problem is overwhelming. You know, flood it with love, and get excited about it. You know, the
So,
co-founder of Ted Baker taught me that.
so did you know? I'm curious because for us, we're very much about community and having people that are close to you to help you through good and bad times. And I'm curious, did anyone make mention about having a network, having a group of trusted advisors or friends or family to help them get through the tough times? What were the tools, like what you know it's hard, right, man? It's hard to like just sit at home and you're working so hard trying to get your business off the ground or trying to get your business profitable. Were there any specific techniques? Obviously, as you said, mindset is critically important, and I agree with you. You have to start there. But was there any other like things that people did to help and support them along the way?
I learned this from a very very successful lady who's in the Survive and Thrive book, Dr. Christina Rahm, and that is to quiet the mind first of all. So she goes into meditation 4 times a day, and she's sitting with the problem, you know, and it's really because in the silence you can hear everything, and that's where the solutions come. So it's about eliminating the fear of the problem first of all, because if you're in business, you're a problem solver, you're going to be constantly faced with problems and it never ends. So if you can quiet the mind, go into meditation, and just let it settle, you'll find that the thoughts eventually start to come and the solutions come, and you see a way forward that perhaps you hadn't. But you know, I think, and this is what's beautiful about your community. It's you know, involve yourself with others, you know, like this sort of community, and ask for help. And I think that's probably one of the major nuggets of running a business. It's surround yourself with great people who, you know, who are not going to put you down or criticize you, because there's plenty of those people. You know, you need to silence them and go after the people that have already been there, and take their advice, because often And it feels good to share something, right? If you're going through something, it feels good to discuss it and talk it through and write out the problem, define it, without emotion, rather than getting all hell bent about something. It's like, actually, what are the facts? And then create a plan. How can I get through it? How can I deal with this? What are the solutions? Who can help me? Meditate, feel good about it, and then proceed. And
Yeah, I
and
don't, I want to stop there on that point because it's so critically important. Even in our personal lives, right? Is to be able, and I think you said to kind of quiet yourself and just look at things objectively and not always react so emotionally. I mean, that really is important. And then the second point, find people that really can help you. I what I've noticed that there are a lot of people that I feel like make a mistake, and I've done it myself, right? It's where I call they're taking a survey, where they just go around asking people's opinion or help until they find somebody that agrees with them. That's not what we're talking about, right, Stephen?
no,
Sometimes these things are hard to hear. What do you think?
absolutely. I remember on a personal note, I had a mentor, and he said to me one day, "Do you know you're overweight?" And I was like, "No." And I was 4 stone in English weight, overweight. So I did something about it, and then I lost the weight. I lost 4 stone, which is I don't know how many pound, a lot. um and what you need to do is, when great people give you advice, it's like you need to take the medicine. And then ego is a problem, because some people, I don't need that, I don't, certainly for me over the years, I don't need any help, I can do this, I've got this all sorted. And then so humility comes into play. And I think as a founder, you need to be immensely humble, you need to be open. you,
Yeah, we lost you there,
sorry
Steve.
sorry
Yeah,
that
there.
was the Count of Monte Crypto phoning me. And so you need to be open and receptive to ideas, and really be from a point that actually you don't know anything at all. We don't know an awful lot, really. We think we do sometimes. So I always come from a position of a complete novice and a learner, and it's like, teach me, how did you do that? And I would, anybody that's listening to this, you know go out and ask somebody massively successful how they did it, and I'll tell you what, they'll give you the time. They will give you the time, because they want to help. So don't ever be afraid of asking for help and taking that advice. And then you've got to internalize it, and then you've got to do what you want to do with it. Yeah, and move forward from there.
Excellent. So, I'm taken away here, like you're politely emphasizing someone who's successful. I think that is critical. We have to be careful who we do take advice from. We really do. So, on that note, for us, we have recommended to people and we've had great success doing this ourselves. If you're a startup, seek out maybe like an incubator program, whether it be out of college or something local. Like, seek out people that have varying different opinions than yourself, so you just don't get in that group think. But we have found, like, workspaces and incubators are a great place to to practice what you're saying.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, ask for help. It's not, sometimes as an entrepreneur, it feels so lonely. There's so many times I've sat at my desk thinking, how the hell am I going to get out of this one? And probably you'll all agree, we've all been there. So it's like, just pick up the phone or email somebody and just ask for help. Because and anybody wants to message me anytime, I'm always available to give help to anybody, because it makes me feel good, when I share nuggets and I share what I've been through and the things that I've learned from other people. It feels good. You want to help people. So it's, don't feel that you're on your own. But I saw a quote from Elon Musk, just yesterday, actually, that starting your own business and trying to become successful was like eating glass and staring into the abyss. And it does feel like that at times. It can be really painful, but that's part of growth. Without there's no pain. With pain and growth come hand in hand. um
Right.
you know it's unavoidable, so you may as well accept it, and then learn how to deal with it. And you have to have a huge pain threshold and get used to it. Um, because you do get periods where it elapses and you're kind of in flow, and then something will happen, something will sideswipe you, um, and then you have to deal with it and expect those
Times. Yeah.
situations to come. Yeah, and that's very important. Expect those situations to come, because and try and be as prepared as you can for them. And often whatever situation arises, often there's a monetary cost to it. Normally, something ends up costing you money. So that then as a business, it's like try and get some cash reserves in to protect you. So when those, because you make mistakes, I make so many mistakes, even now, and they invariably end up costing money. So don't think that it's all going to be rosy. And that was one of my other problems over the years. I just thought I was invincible, and I certainly wasn't.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so we'd love to hear the members' stories. So please do raise your hand. We'd love to bring you to the stage, or if you have questions, please feel free to raise your hand and we'll bring you right up. But Stephen, just circling back to your last point, I think the flip of that exists too. Like people that are successful, lend your time and help other people. It is a circle of doing good. It is a bit of karma as well. And, you can always, there's always something for us to learn, obviously, from each other. But moving on to the next item. So I think we've heard 2 points of what you have repetitively heard from our successful CEOs, C level people, whomever founders that you've been interviewing. What would be a third point that is a standout point that you can share with our members here today?
That life is energy. Everything is energy. If you put your hand under a microscope, it's vibration energy. So don't think of the world as solid. Think of it as just one energy system. And what you put out into that energy system is like a mirror. It comes back to you. And that's the way life works. And thoughts have power. The great book by Napoleon Hill. Thoughts become things. Having spoken to so many of these amazing people, they all understand that actually the world is an illusion and it's just energy. So there, be careful and mindful of your thinking. But be kind to people. Don't intentionally go out there, and I'm sure nobody on this call would, but don't intentionally go out there to damage other people. Many people do, but you can't do that. You've got to be a loving, kind person, and especially these days, that's what you need to be as an entrepreneur. Young people won't come and work for you if you're fear driven, and that's the culture. They want to go and work for great people. So it's cultivating a culture of kindness. And actually that was one of the other big nuggets I learned, that that if the result is happiness, that kindness is the route to take you there. So be a kind person, be kind to everybody, because you never know what they're going through, especially in business. And I just think that's a great way to live.
All right, excellent. I think that's all good advice. And we have our first person on the stage today, D'Angelo. Please feel free to share with us or ask any questions. We'd like to know your thoughts on how you strive to thrive, and what helped you. What can you share with us, please?
Well, I think sometimes, well, not sometimes, I came to a point where I realized I didn't like my life, and I just kind of started over, and a lot of rocky road moments happened, and I came to a point where I realized certain things were missing in my community, and I constructed a plan to bring some relief to some of the problems that we have here. um, it's not ready for funding yet, but it's pretty good. And I've got a lot of good responses from it. So I'm kind of at the point where it's just like Stephen was saying, just go for it. So I'm at the point of solidifying the the codes for the scale umbrella corp I'm trying to build to run a program for homeless people in my community and be able to control the property as to making sure people who are unsavory don't live there to cause chaos and wreak havoc, to give families stability and comfort, to establish a real safe zone. You know, we can only do that through ownership and serving each other a little dignity on the side, you know? So that's what I'm about in a nutshell. But I just wanted to listen to people who have already been through the things that I'm facing, explain how they made it through. Because every hill is an uphill battle, and most of the time you have to conquer yourself, and you can see yourself in others in their experience if you just pay attention. I'm finished.
Yeah, you go, Stephen.
Yeah, well, that's so that's very good, mate. I mean, all credits to you for what you're doing with the homelessness. When I started Nugget, I had no idea I was going to make any money from it. I just knew that it was my purpose and it was the journey I was supposed to be on. So I just went for it, and then life kind of supports you. I find when you're on a big purpose. So good luck to it. And love what you're doing, and just put as much positive energy into it that you can without expectation, and see where the journey takes you. Wonderful.
Thank you. I'll go back to listening.
All right. It looks like we have Joe Foster, the founder of Reebok, Stephen, who's joined us on the stage.
Oh no.
Let's get him involved in the
Oh no.
conversation, Joe. Stephen is giving us some amazing stories and things that he has learned from all the amazing people he has interviewed about how to thrive, in the face of adversity. And Joe, I know you've been through a lot of ups and downs. You're a very successful man, but why don't you share with us maybe what has helped you persevere? And I know you persevered for many years through a lot of personal and business diversities.
Yes, I mean it is incredible, and I think if you have that optimism, you have to look at the problems you go through in life, and I've been through many, but whilst you're still around, you've got to think of the positives. We have so many positives, so many absolute positives. Meeting Stephen, meeting yourself, and meeting Colin. These are exciting things. They're wonderful, and the more you put yourself out there, the more people you meet, the better life is. And I think this is it. To survive, it's find people. Work with those people. We've just had a weekend at the Vatican, would you believe, meeting some amazing people, and it's incredible. I can't believe where these people think that we're going, but this is all part of life as it changes, and as it changes, that's part of surviving. And then once you learn how to survive, you thrive, because these guys, they just give you an enormous sort of lift. And we had one guy there, and he was just doing wonderful card tricks, magic, and everybody just enjoys that. And I think this part of surviving and thriving is when you're at that point where you're surviving, try to find out where the fun is. Look for that, and that will just lift you, and it really will. And so many times that we're out and about and we meet people, and it's so many people who can give you that lift. And I know we've been there in Fort Lauderdale. We've been there with Stephen, and we have fun. So, look, guys, if you want to survive, look for fun, look for somewhere to go, talk to people, meet people, and it's surprising, they will help you. And we've had so much help. And I say this last few days have been incredible. Going to the Vatican, we couldn't believe it, and going into the Sistine Chapel, absolutely incredible. So there are places you can go to reach out and find what did these guys do so long ago? And it's incredible. So surviving is a massive, really, of taking the next step. Always take the next step. Look for it. Look for help. And we've done that. And I've been so lucky in life. So lucky. And it's great. Lucky to know you guys. And really, we enjoy it. So please keep on enjoying life and look for that. And while you're striving, believe you me, it's out there. If you look for it, it's out there. So after that, you will thrive. So it's great. Great to talk to you guys. Cheers. Did we lose it?
Yo, if
Yep,
I may,
we're here. We can hear you. So, Stephen, I'm going to let you take it from here and moderate the conversation. We have some new folks on the stage, but let's ask Joe a little bit more.
yo, can I ask Joe a question?
We can. He's very quiet.
Okay. Is it too low? Can you not hear me good? Okay, I'll wait.
No, I can't hear you.
No, we can't hear you. We're a bit. We're halfway up the mountain in France, and you need to shout.
All right, Stephen, take it from here. Let's let you fill in the gaps and ask Joe some questions, as well as our new guests on the stage. Stephen.
Yeah, I can. Hello, Joe. How you doing?
Hello, Stephen. We're doing well. Fine.
Yeah, nice to see you again. So, what can I ask Joe Foster, the founder of Reebok, that goodness me. So when a problem hits you, how do you mentally deal with it? You know, so the problem arises. Is there a process that you follow when something bubbles up? Yeah, what's the first
Well,
thing you do?
I guess you've got to go back in history and sort of look at all the problems that
Yeah, with
we've had,
Reebok.
and yeah, with Reebok, and the first problems you get because you're not used to sort of having to deal with these sort of things. You feel a bit sort of, oh my God, why me? Why do I? And then you think that's not a problem. That means you're doing something wrong, or maybe you could do something better. So why don't we turn that problem into an advantage, into an opportunity? Why don't we say, it's just like Reebok. You know, we started off as Mercury Sports Footwear. And because we couldn't register that name, we had to find a new one. And it's in the book. We went through the process, but we came up with Reebok. And Reebok was a far better name. So I think with any problem you get, it's like, where's the advantage here? Yeah, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I could do something better. So I think with any problem, and this is, and to me, optimism as against pessimism. And we faced that this weekend, or these last few days when we were out there in Rome, and they were talking about optimism and pessimism. And optimism, that's the thing that drives. So if you've got a problem, if you're an optimist, you will just look at this as an opportunity. A pessimist, well, that becomes difficult. And I feel sorry if people are pessimistic about life. So if you can change that around, and I don't know if that's possible, but looking at a problem, it's saying, wow, this has got to be an advantage. There's got to be something here that gives me an opportunity to, I think these days you call it pivot. And if you pivot, you go somewhere else. You know, don't close your mind to the fact that a problem is going to stop you. A problem can actually give you an advantage somewhere else to go. And with Reebok, we did this all the time. And we used to find white space. So white space is good because if you've got a problem, you say, well, just a minute, where is the advantage here? Let's see where there's some white space. That is something that gives you a new, what can you say, a new path, and take it and enjoy it. And it's surround yourself with other people who are also optimistic, who share those values, and it's amazing. Yeah, you can turn those problems into some fantastic advantages, and as we did, Reebok is a good example of our early days facing problems, finding answers, which gave us a bit of an advantage.
Yeah, that's amazing. And there's an important point to remember there, that every problem you've ever had, you've got through it. It's past. And problems are like the clouds, aren't they? They come and they arrive, they teach you something and they move on. So anybody that's listening to this, remember that every bad day you've ever had, you've got through it. Every problem you've ever had, you've sorted it in some respects and overcome it. Whenever the next one arrives, it's like, and this is your point about having fun. If you're having fun and you apply fun to solving the problem, the solutions come much easier, because you're in that state of optimism and gratitude, and it's like, yeah, we can do this. Okay, what solutions do I need? Who do I need? Let's create a plan. I remember very quickly, when we were doing Nugget, you remember this, Joe, we ran out of money, and I remember phoning you, and it's like, together we crafted a plan, and then we started doing some live shows, and you saved us at that point. I mean, it's just amazing. Yeah, and then on we went and we did something else. And that's what you need people that you can brainstorm with and look for the solution. And I think that's probably one of the major things I've learned from you is having fun with the problem, almost, rather than you know diving into fear and disappointment and thinking, oh, this is poor old me. It's nothing to do with it. Just find a solution, get on with it. Um, and that's an incredible thing, and then you get through it, and that feels good.
Well, I agree. Definitely, I agree. And yeah, so many times, and I think everybody faces that problem, that they seem to be going on a path which is, oh, this is okay. Then something happens, and if you look at that as why are they stopping me? You've got to think, just a minute. It's not just they're stopping; they're in my way. That's not white space. White space is where you can actually maneuver. So you've got to look for that difference. We changed our name and we found a better name. We changed our silhouette at Reebok and we got a better silhouette. And this is what you've got to look for. And you know, I've got to tell you guys, optimism. Look at things with a positive light. And in fact, invite the problems, because that way you will find different avenues. And we're having fun, Stephen, aren't we?
Well, do you know? I mean, we're doing this new book called Survive and Thrive with Joe, and it's amazing. We're getting nuggets of wisdom and stories from the most incredible people, and I've learned so much. And I would just say to anybody listening on this call, if you've got a nugget of wisdom you'd like to share, come to the website and do it. We can potentially put it in the book.
Wait. Stop. This sounds amazing. Opportunity for our members, because we have some amazing members. So, where would they go to submit a golden nugget that may make it into the book? Where would they go, Stephen?
They go to onegoldennugget.com/Reebok the founder. And there they can come and submit their nugget of wisdom, something that they've learned on their journey. And we're creating a movement with Joe called Survive and Thrive, where we're sharing these nuggets of wisdom and stories. And we really want to come, especially to America, and inspire the nation with Joe. We're going to get him on US TV to promote the movement, that you can get through tough times, because everybody faces them. It's part of life. Problems are a part of life.
Okay,
Yeah,
so Mimi, can you post that in the chat and save the link for everyone? Like, that's amazing opportunity for people to give back and share. I love that, and I'm gonna really look forward. I know Colin Campbell, who we work with here, is also going to be in the book. But I'm going to go submit a golden nugget, and I'm going to really look forward to seeing what other people submit.
Yeah, and we've got some incredible people in there, like the boxer Evander Holyfield. We've got Keith Chapman, who invented Bob the Builder and Paw Patrol, a multi-billion-dollar industry. We just got some phenomenal people, and obviously Joe as well. So Joe does the interviews, and
Yes,
we talk about surviving and thriving and sharing those stories. And as I say, the most successful people have been through the most, because they make the most mistakes. They try the hardest. And there's going to be so many great learnings. And also we've
yes.
got loads of nuggets on the website as well. Come and have a look. That's our
So
big
lots of really
project.
cool, inspiring, free content, opportunity to be in your book, and opportunity to be part of this amazing community. But let me just say, Joe, obviously, I've had the privilege I think I can call myself your friend, but we've had the privilege. Like you're so optimistic, and I love the way you frame that about just looking at the positivity and just how do you get past those adversities and those struggles, in a positive way. You can't let it beat you up. I mean that's a resounding critical, thought habit, etc., that sets people aside. So thank you, Joe, for sharing that. And I want to get to
Yeah,
some of the other folks here, Joe, on
yeah,
the
well,
stage too. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
yeah, that's been an absolute pleasure because I got to go now and carry on. Absolutely, carry
Yes, I
on
know
with these
you're on
positive
the other
thoughts.
side of the world.
Yes,
Thank you, Joe, for
there
joining.
you
We
go.
really appreciate it. Tell
Been
Julie
an
hi.
absolute pleasure. Been an absolute pleasure. Bye, guys.
Bye bye. So we have Caleb. Caleb, love to hear your golden nugget, your questions, your thoughts on this conversation. Caleb, go for it.
Hey, what's great? I actually I know Joe as well. I met him a while ago, and I just want to say hi real quick, but he just left. So that, but I didn't want to be part of this conversation. I've been listening in a little bit. I love what you guys have been talking about. I was just looking at the website, and I was trying to figure this out. Is this a community? I saw become a founder and become an author, and then I saw some sort of forum. Is this a community? And what is a golden nugget?
It is. Yes, it is a community, and it's a movement that we're building with Survive and Thrive. And what is a golden nugget? A golden nugget is a piece of life advice. So when you've been through something, my friend, think back to a tough, challenging time that you've been through, and then think what was the golden nugget in that moment. What did you learn? And then who you became because of it. There would have been a gift in it, and that's what those nuggets are. Often when people have been through a tough experience, they then share the learning from it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm trying to think of anything other than the boring thing that I'm thinking of right now, but this happened, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months ago. Um, and I had been struggling as a founder. I couldn't find anything that was working. But this is actually not about my business. Because now I've evolved in terms of that, but I was trying to get to Texas. I was trying to cross the country, and my car just broke down before I was able to go, and I was kind of stressed about this. It was like a $1,200 expense. I was like, where am I going to find this? I was already struggling to put money into my business, and I told myself that I could do it. And this is kind of the point with what I'm saying. I'll wrap up the story, but my point with what I'm saying is that anybody can do anything if you set your mind to it. You have no idea how powerful the human mind is. I personally, I'm not going to get into my spiritual beliefs, but I think that it goes beyond anything that we'll ever discuss today. But in terms of business, your mind is so resilient. It can get anything done. If you tell yourself, I'm going to have 5 clients for this random business idea that I have that it costs $20,000 a month, it's just something random. But you really believe in it. If you really believe in that and you've done the research and you think that you can provide that, you see self worth in yourself, and you know your value, you can make it happen. So, anyways, I saw that in that weekend. I don't know how. I've never done this before. I reached out to people on Facebook. I found odd jobs, and somehow within 3 days, I made $1,200. Some of it was for my business. I had a podcast back then as well, but I just I've never done anything like that. But I knew I felt it was right. I wanted to get this done. I set my mind to it, and I got that all done. I literally it was an engine problem, so I bought the engine on my own. I had I used my dad's trailer to bring the engine to my house. This was I don't know, in the dead of winter in New England, so it was cold. I mean, it was like 10, 20 degrees out. And yeah, it was just crazy. So anyways, I just want to share that. I don't know if it was supposed to be specific to business, but that's very relevant because again, if you set your mind to something, there's a great book on this by Carol Dweck. It's called Mindset. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about fairy tales and gumdrops. I'm talking about real scientific stuff that attests to the power of the mind. I think the mind is incredible.
It's it's all power. You can create anything you want, and I don't think there's any difference really between my personal life and my business life. It's just the same thing. You know, as an entrepreneur, I find no separation between the two, because I love what I do and I love my business and I love my life. So therefore, it's just all one thing, and that's the way it's always been, and it's the way it always will be. You know, I just, when I'm not working, I'm thinking. You know, and that's the other thing is, you know, you've got a problem, think it through. You let it sit. You know, you don't have to always solve it straight away. You know, just allow sometimes the problem to sit. And if you allow sometimes, you know, 2 or 3 days, and you just sit with the problem, and you're easy with it, solutions then come. And that's when you talk about the mind will then find the solution. That's what the mind does. It's what it's designed to do. It's designed to solve problems. So rather than acting from fear in the moment, oh, I must get this sorted right now, it's like, no, ease off. You know, I do a lot of yoga, and it's amazing that the clarity of mind after doing yoga. It's the same with meditation. You know, all those kind of techniques that I've learned to do. Doesn't mean to say I'm perfect. I'm not. You know, I still have days when I sit at my desk and think, oh, for God's sake, you know, maybe I should be going working McDonald's because I'll get a free lunch. You know, but that's that's kind of like normal. I think most people feel that, and it's okay sometimes to have a bad day. It doesn't mean you've got a bad life. It just means it's, you know, that day
Exactly.
was tough.
That's great. It's all context. And, you know, I would go a step further too, Stephen and Caleb, is when you do get weighed down, you know, just feeling beaten or distraught, it actually has such a negative effect on us, right? We actually should, it's almost like we should be doing everything we can, striving, you know, I'm going to say, right? Using your language to get ourself out of that headspace, because we can't be good. We can't be all that we need to be, business or personal, if we let ourselves stay in that state. So that's a really good point about how, you know, it's the whole thing, the head, the heart, the body are all connected.
Absolutely. A dear friend of mine's a guy called Akhtar Badshah, who ran Microsoft but he was the head of Microsoft philanthropy for Bill Gates, gave away billions, and I do a lot of business with him now. And I asked him, I said, you know, when you've got a problem, you know, what do you do? You know, how do you deal with it? He goes, I just walk away from it. I'll go for a walk, I'll go in nature, I'll let it sit, I'll come back to it in a few days. I feel differently about the problem, solutions will come. You know, and that's a man that's been at the top of his game. Incredible man. You know, so I'm not clever enough to come up with any other idea. I may as well just copy. You know, that's the point. I just copy other people. You know, if you're telling me to do that, Actor, that's a great idea. I'll do it, because I'm not clever enough to come up with my own solution. I just copy great people. You know, because they've been there, they've done it.
Yes. Yes, that's a great way to learn. And I see we have, wow, like an amazing group of folks here that are ready to give their golden nugget. So next we have Akeelia. I hope I said that right, but you're up. Tell us what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Akeelia, you're on mute. Just make sure you unmute yourself on the bottom right hand corner.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
thank
Awesome.
you. It's actually Aquila. It's okay though. I've heard so many pronunciations of my name, so I'm used to it by now. Um, First of all, I just want to say that I am so thankful that I found this app and that I ran into you guys today. Um, I was napping with my dog, and I clicked on, and I mean, this has been a beautiful, beautiful conversation. Um, Really quickly, I'm 47 years old. I have a 14-year-old and a 22-year-old. And
All right.
everything that I tried to do, right? So when I finally realized 5 years ago, when I stopped drinking, I realized that it's not so much that everything I tried in business failed as much as it was a learning opportunity. I was just looking at it the wrong way. And what Joe said about being optimistic and having happy people around you and looking at things differently, it just clicked with me and it makes so much sense. When you're happy, when you're at peace, you make better decisions. You do. And you can come up with better solutions when you're happy. But when you're drowning in sorrow and you feel like everything is just, oh my God, and you're stuffy, you can't think. And I just feel like I just got released a few minutes ago. I've spent the last 5 years banging my head trying to figure out what is it that I'm not doing correctly. I thought it was something I was doing in trying to start my photography business and really make it a thriving business. No, I just needed to stop and think, remain peace, remain happy, and I would come up with the solution. And I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much. It just makes me so emotional just for me to hear the things that you all are saying and everything and how it's clicking with me. And I also want to say really quickly that, I'm a woman that has been through a lot of ups and downs. I pride myself on being able to acquiesce to any situation. I can walk into a room of very rich people. I can walk into a room of very poor people. I can walk into a room of just regular working people and I can fit in. Okay. And I love that. And I feel like as long as I have that, if I keep that with me, I feel like I can do anything. I can make it anywhere. And so now it's not so hard for me to really get my photography business off the ground the way that I want to do it. I've been doing it for many, many years. I'm very, very good at it. But now I know what I need to do to go and achieve what I really want to achieve with it. And I just want to say thank you and thank you for letting me share. And I hope I made sense just now. Thank you so much.
What an
You
amazing person you
absolutely,
are.
yeah, go. You go, Stephen.
No, I was just saying, what an amazing person you are. You know, you should
Yes.
go and look in the mirror right now and say to yourself, "I love myself." In fact, everybody should do that. It's very
Yes.
difficult to do that. Go and look in the mirror and say, "I love you," because and let's not forget, all the struggles that we go through as human beings. None of us have a manual to this. We're
Yes.
we're we're good people. Go and look in and love yourself because it's so important. Because nobody else can love you to the degree you can. You have to internalize that love and have a massive respect for yourself. And that's what I got from what you just said then. So, well done. You're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You are too. And you are too, Michelle.
Thank you. And you know what? Members like you and all the other members, like you make it worth it for us. And we're so grateful that you are, really receiving something into your heart from this.
Yes,
Thank you.
it's beautiful. Thank you so much for doing what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Stephen, we're getting near the hour, but we're absolutely going to go to the next three people that are here on stage. So we have Catherine. Catherine, you're up.
Hi, yes. Hello, thank you. First of all, what a great room. This is amazing, and in itself is what was talked about earlier, an opportunity, a great opportunity to learn and listen to others. My job, I work in a very niche area, and I support entrepreneurs in the space sector to grow and develop their businesses, which could be satellite businesses, building rockets, whatever it is. But what's interesting about it is they're all grand ideas, and what they're essentially trying to do is make the impossible possible. So they're businesses that really do have to keep their eye on that vision that Stephen mentioned before, and really persevere through quite challenging and difficult times to bring their businesses to life. And one of the young entrepreneurs that I worked with recently said something great, and I thought it just hit me. He said, I've been looking for an idea for years. He'd had a couple of failed startups previously, and he said, whilst I've been looking for my idea, as I haven't had anything solid to go off, what I've done instead is built myself up in small incremental steps. And that's the part that hit me, and I thought that's such a great way to approach life. Just that development of yourself, so that when that opportunity does arise, you're ready to grasp it with both hands. And I thought that was a fantastic comment from someone that's only 26, 27 years old. From my own perspective, I've had startups. I've had startups that have been successful and startups that have failed, more that have failed than been successful. And I think when we use the term failure, I suppose I reframe it. I never look back and perceive any of the business ventures to be failures. They are all learning experiences. And I take the advice of the entrepreneur that I spoke to and learn from every experience that I've had, so that when the next business opportunity comes around, I'm ready to persevere and to go at that with full force, with all the learnings from my previous business experiences. I think the one thing that keeps me going and keeps me setting up new startups again and again and again, no matter how many fail, is that I always start up off the back of a passion. So it has to be something that I care about, which comes back to that fun element that was discussed before. It's got to be fun, but it's also got to have meaning. So it's got to translate to my values, and what I believe is right morally, ethically, socially, and it's got to have purpose. And I think those would be my golden nuggets, just from the entrepreneur that I work with perspective, and also from my own.
Nice. Hello, Catherine, fellow
Hello.
English person.
Hello, fellow English person.
I don't know you, do I?
No,
Oh,
you feel like
no,
no,
no.
you don't know
I've
me.
worked with a lot of people in the space industry actually through their nuggets. I thought I might have come across you, but yeah, you're absolutely right with everything you say. You know, good for you. I wish you every success.
Thank you.
Excellent. So, as we go to the final person, last but not least, Coach, I just want to remind everyone we are talking to Stephen Foster today. Stephen is the founder and author of many books, and they are all around the topic of golden nuggets, and it's how people strive to survive. He's interviewed, I think you said, over 3,000 people, right, Stephen?
That's nearly 4,000.
Nearly 4,000 people. So he is rather expert on this topic. And, I've been personally involved in some of his projects, and they really are so inspirational. So we do thank you for that and for attending and sharing this with our members today. But, Coach, you're up. We want to hear your thoughts, your experiences, what you can share with the audience today about how you survive and how you strive to be your best ever. Go ahead, Coach.
Thank you very much. Greetings to everyone in the room. My name is Lakeisha Matisse. I'm a mindset and manifestation coach, author, educator, mother. And I just give thanks right now for being allowed to come on stage and share what my golden nugget is about persevering and getting back up when life knocks you down. I have this saying, it says, set your goals, aim them high. You can make it if you try. If by chance you miss your aim, it's okay, just try again. But I put on the end of that, but do not give up. Never, ever give up. And that's my golden nugget. It's this other mantra that I use a lot of times. I say, I may not get it right all the time, but see, I will keep on trying because I was made for a special purpose and I will complete my destiny. Every day I choose to get myself together because I know out in the world I can be something greater. I am a force for good. I'm an agent of change. No matter what happens in my life, though life may be hard, hallelujah, I will continue to push on. I may fail, but I will never quit. I will never give up. now get myself together because I will become something greater. And so can you. This is what I do. This is who I am. It all started off with identity. You know, when life knocked me down, I had to always make up in my mind not to stay down. But see, I had to learn to rejuvenate, to renew, and to reinvent myself because I know life could be beautiful and if it was worth living. But see, there was once upon a time that I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel it was like life had hit me so hard and I was down for the count, and I didn't want to get back up because I didn't feel that life was worth living. But then I'm telling you, something deep inside of my core told me, no, honey, you have to get up. You have to get up and you have to learn what it takes to rebound yourself. You have to get up and you have to learn what it takes to reset your life. And that's how I came up with the 8 strategies to rebound and reset your life. And from this, I was able to not just learn about myself, but to learn about and my shortcomings and to learn about, but to also focus on my victories. Just like it was mentioned in the room. Listen, we've been here before. Like our brains are meant to solve problems and the issues we may have. And no, we may have not come from the best side of town, or maybe we did come from the best side of the town. But at the end of the day, a mindset is a mindset, and mindsets it doesn't matter. It doesn't it like it's not about the race you are. It's not about how much money you make. It's not about where you find yourself. Mindset is mindset. You can have somebody that's in poverty and have a great mindset. You can have somebody that's a millionaire and has a messed up mindset. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, what I would say for my golden nugget is just to make sure we're setting our goals and we're aiming them high and we're understanding who we are in our identity. We're building upon the identity that we want for ourselves. We are creating what we want to see in our lives. We are moving, living, and having our being, understanding that I believe that I am a creator because of who I was created by. So I create. Right? I choose to create. I'm not going to destroy. And when I find myself trying to go back over into that negativity, just like a gentleman on here mentioned, Carol Dweck, absolutely. Mindset is everything. And also, Angela Duckworth talks about grit as well. So I would just say, hey, continue to set your goals and aim them high. And another thing, it doesn't matter if you miss the mark. Just go ahead and try again. But I tell you, never give up. Keep going. Even if you got to stop and pause for a minute, pause, cry, catch your breath, and then get back out there. It doesn't matter how slow you go, as long as you're moving in the right direction. And I thank you very much for your time. This is Lakeisha Matisse, and I release my mic.
Thank you so
Wow.
much. I love her energy, Stephen. I mean, what a great way to end this session today.
Wow,
So
my vibration's gone right up. Well done.
I know I feel good, right? So, Stephen, why don't you kind of like give us the highlights, the high points here, and something for our members here to take away today as they strive to survive. And then we're going to close out the session. Stephen, it's all yours.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, I just want to thank everybody for listening. You know, everyone's time is very precious, and it's been wonderful to hear these stories. I would just like to leave you with a last nugget. Actually, I remember a couple of years ago, building Nugget. I was just experiencing resistance everywhere. Yeah, everything I was trying, I just, the resistance was build and build and build and build. So I thought, okay, what do I do? So I reached out to a guy called Dr. Joe Vitale, who was in The Secret, who's a dear friend of mine. And I said to him, Joe, I'm just experiencing resistance, against everything. And he emailed me back and he said, Steve, life doesn't resist, it's you. You're creating the resistance. There is no resistance out there. What you need to do is drop it and allow and accept. And this is very important, accept how things are right now and just be easy on it. He goes, you're doing great, just relax, and the resistance will melt. And he was absolutely right, and the resistance did melt. So life's never resisting, it's just, it's an internal thing. So if you're going after something and you feel resistance, actually take ownership of it and realize it's you resisting, not life.
That's great parting words. I love that, right? We create a lot. Our mind is so powerful and it can really propel us to the next level or just drag us down to the lowest levels. So, on behalf of Startup Club and all of our members here, thank you, Stephen, for sharing your experience, all the wisdom that you've gathered from all the almost 4,000 people that you have interviewed. We really appreciate it. And we hope everyone has an amazing weekend. Just a reminder, we are Serial Entrepreneur, and we are here every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We have different topics, authors, business leaders, every week. We also have an amazing website that Mimi here, right beside me, works on diligently. We have over 200 recordings, transcripts, blogs, all posted on the website for you free of charge. Of course, the club is always free as well. And if you'd like to know upcoming events, you can join our email list. We never spam people, and we only email out about once a week. So it's that time of the week. We're wrapping up Serial Entrepreneur, and we hope to see you next week at the same time. Everyone, be well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Goodbye.
You are too, Michelle.
Thank you. And you know what, members like you and all the other members, like, you make it worth it for us. And we're so grateful that you are, really receiving something into your heart from this.
Yes,
Thank you.
it's beautiful. Thank you so much for doing what you do. Thank you.
Thank you.